Alright, guys. Is it time for the tier list creation here? Only DPS. Affliction Warlock. It's not too bad. Not broken either. I would give it a C/B. It's somewhere in between here, I would say. Damage is pretty good. Honestly, it's not too bad. It's the class that, because, like, I think it's okay. This is M+. This is M+ only. M+ tier list. I've been playing with too many Affliction Warlocks though. But don't sleep on Warlock. But I would say I would give Affliction Warlock a B for M+. Wait, there's no evokers. Wait, I need to fix. Maybe there's an updated tier list. The one that's. Anyone have one with augmentation included? Trying to find. Oh, I found it. Perfect. Here we go. Okay, Affliction B. Arcane. It's also in between here. Mage is pretty good. Brings buff, class buff, everything. Bloodlust. I think it's B as well. Arms Warrior. C. Assa Rogue. A. Boomkin. A. Beast Mastery. It's hard to go up in S. It lacks some utility. But its damage is fucking wild. It's an A. Now the tank things. Tank and plus, I mean, let's start with the DPS specs. I think Demo is also in B, right? Demo is also pretty solid. It's a B angle. Now Destro, I haven't played with a Destro Lock in a long time. I need some Warlock support here. Why are no one playing Destro? I mean, D is like garbage. There's no way Destro Warlocks are garbage. It has to be C or B. B is average, C is below average, D is horrible. A is like better than average, and S is like the best. I think it's garbage. Is it actually garbage? Really? I mean, everyone's saying D in the chat. I haven't played with a Destro Lock in a long time. Devestation Evoker. I mean, it's really good, but no one has been playing it a long time because of Augmentation Evoker. But Destro Devastation is like really good for M+, right? I would say that this is an A class. If it's as strong as it was before, it's like really solid in dungeons. And the new set bonus is really good, right? I would give Devastation an A. Elemental Shaman. It's really good cleave right now, right? It's like AS. It's like really good. I would say A. It's good damage, but it lacks in like raid, like group buffs and stuff like that. It has good stops though. Short melee kick. It has some good things, Elemental. Has some good utility. Enhancement Shaman, probably B angle. Off the top of my head, I would say it's B. I don't think you can say C for Enhancement Shaman. Enhancement is really good, I think. Enhancement is like a solid class. If you have an Enhancement Shaman in the group, it's good. It's not like top dog, but it's a solid class. Has pretty decent damage all the time, especially in cleave. Enhances ARS. What the fuck? No, it's not. Enhance is like closer to A if anything. I'm like, even B is like not even giving it the credit it deserves, kind of. It's almost like I would, if I could put it here, I would. It's like a, yeah, it can just, it's either high on the B list or low on the A list. I think it's fair to say that it's actually like more A than it's B. We can also rank them in order. Yes. So top A is over here. Holy fuck, this one is actually going to be hard. We can do that in the end, yeah. Feral Druid. S. Why you... You guys really don't believe that a Feral Druid is on S tier right now? Their single target is shit? What are you smoking, guys? It's so broken, this big. Feral is A tier at best. It also has, listen, the reason why it's S, it's really fucking good damage. It has, it also brings Mark of the Wild, Nature's Vigil, you know, like, you have a lot of good tools. Like, I think it's, guys, it's my tier list. I think it's fucking sick. Feral is lit as fuck.
That was
Move on, guys, relax. Where, do you have to go somewhere? It's Sunday. Chill out. Alright, so Fire Mage. B. Don't. Mage is just average right now. It's just in the middle of the pack. It brings group buffs, good utility, good survivability in dungeons. It just needs, like, its damage is just very medium right now compared to some of the other spec-ins in dungeons. Mage just needs a little bit of tuning. Needs a little bit of love on the damage department. Yeah, and guys, remember this tier list is also really important because I've talked with the Blizzard, and a lot of the devs are currently watching the stream right now, and they will take the results of this tier list and they will adjust their numbers based on the results of this. So if you are on the low list on this tier, you're most likely gonna get buffed. If you are high on the list right now, there's a high chance you will get nerfed. But I'm sorry about that. It's just, I'm just laying it out there like it's the truth, you know? We want a balanced game. Gotta work towards that. I'm CXD. Honestly, don't have that much knowledge on arms. I don't even know how good the warriors is in keys. Put this in D, please. Nah, but actually, I do think Feral is really good. Putting it on S might have been like excessive, but I would give it a very high A, if anything. Frost Mage. Average. Like all the other mage specs. Frost DK. Probably A, right? DK is A. Really solid class. Good damage. No, stop it. It's also B. Frost is B. Fury Warrior. Also B, right? I mean, it gets legendary as well. It's gonna be a B. Everything is A tier. I mean, maybe I should. How can I make another one? Can I make another? The fuck do I make an extra? An extra group? I can't. It's fine. Okay. Enhances last A and A rank. No, I'm gonna adjust these later. I guess we can adjust them now. The thing is, I mean, Rogue is fucking good. Feral. Boomkin, Feral. I mean, it's hard, bro. Click cogwheel. Add a row below. Oh, perfect. Thank you. B plus. A. S. Probably like this. Enhance is way stronger. No, it's not. Not an M+. It's definitely a B+. No S. There is S up here. I haven't put anything in S yet. Who are the shitty enhancers you've been playing with? Like, the thing is, Elemental is good. Therefore, Enhancement goes B+. Enhance is definitely current top melee. What the guys? No shot. It's not the top melee in the game. Like, we're talking overall, like, okay, what does Enhancement do? It has good AoE damage, it brings good utility as well. It fucking dies because it's so weak defensively. It's a solid class. It gets one of the highest rankings, B+, because its damage is solid and its utility is solid. It brings no group buff except for Wind Fury, which is, of course, going to get value if it's going to be a melee-heavy group composition. But since you're bringing Augmentation Evoker, you only have 2 DPS spots to add. It is going to be really hard to squeeze in an Enhancement Shaman because it doesn't bring enough. That's why it's B+. Look at the bigger picture, not just its damage. It doesn't have enough. But yes, I agree, Enhancement is really solid DPS. We can all agree. But this is a M+ tier list. We don't just look at the damage. We're looking at everything. We're looking at the whole group composition and where that class fits into the meta. And it's really hard for a non-class buff to fit into current M+. It's very sad, but having 5% damage to the whole group is just massive. And it really brings down a class a lot in the rankings if it doesn't bring that. So why Ele above that? Just because Elemental is fucking broken right now. It's just that it might be worth bringing the Ele because it's disgustingly good on DPS. It's the same with BM Hunter. BM Hunter also fits in there.
No. Don't tap the command.
Yes, Enhancement got poisoned dispel. They have the dispel totem. Feral rank A, Y. Mark of the Wild, really fucking good damage as well. Combat Res. Talking about effective DPS or AoE. I mean, the thing is, you look at overall damage, but of course you need a damage profile that's good for bosses as well as trash, right? This is high key specifically. Yes, Enhance and Ele both have crazy funnel damage. That is true. Like, if you have additional targets, you are going to be destroying a main target. Enhancement is insane for that. And Enhancement gets brought up in a group where you, like, in an organized group that plays around the Enhancement Shaman, the Enhancement Shaman will be enabled to do a crazy amounts of boss damage. And many times you're going to be doing a different route with Enhancement Shaman to add trash onto bosses in order to gain speed and the key. That is something that you do. And that does, in an environment like that, Enhancement becomes even better. You sap online figure 39 months. I mean, Boomkin is also really good with dungeons, right? But like Feral right now, Feral is just... Guys, have you been playing Feral, man? It's fucking insane. I feel like a lot of people are sleeping on Feral, but it's so good. I love Feral, but it's bait. Feral is insane until it's at plus 20 key. Okay, why is Feral weak defensively? You can't just go Bear for big hits if you want to. You have so many defensive tools you can play. Ursa and Vigor for increased HP when you go Bear. Frenzied Regen if you really need it. You have Protector of the Pack to like get instant regrowths on yourself and top yourself. You have Nature's Vigil, which is going to do a fuck ton of healing, especially in AoE situations. You have Barskin and you have Wall. You have so many tools. People that say Feral is weak defensively, you're just not good on Feral. You have so many tools if you just use them. Yeah, I mean, Renewal as well, off global, heal. You have so many good things that... Okay, we move on to the next. Havoc. I mean, the new Havoc rework, I think is complete shit, right? Like, it does like no damage currently. I was kidding. It of course goes to the moon. Currently, DH is like, it's like really good. Of course. I mean, they're just super strong. It's S. It's good defensively. Has a lot of good, like a lot of leech. They have DR and Blade Dance now as well. It brings 5% magic damage. It has Fell Eruption. It has AoE stun, and it has really good overall damage profile, both for AoE and single target. I think most DH players will be happy about the current rework because it's really strong. And I know a lot of DHs are currently cooking a lot of different builds. I don't know myself. I've been playing DH very little on PTR, but I have been seeing a lot of different builds from a lot of different DHs. Who knows what will end up being the best, but like the damage is super good. Definitely is. Why is DH getting DH earlier reworked than Hunter? That makes me so sad. Didn't you see Hunter also got some love, bro? Hunter got they got Hunter's Mark. You see it? You got 85% damage increase above 80%. Useless as fuck. It might actually be good for Rock. Because you have there's like a hard enrage mechanic in Phase 1. They also added items for that boss that does more damage above 90%. Hopefully they really squeeze that damage check. That would be cool. Marksmanship. I would put it in C. It's quite poo-poo. C or D? You guys think it's even D? I mean, it is really bad. But D is like complete dog shit. Can you really put like a Hunter spec in dog shit? Because Hunter at least has the redeeming quality of AoE damage. It's trash, but at least the AoE damage they have is like relatively good. So they will do quite decent AoE damage. You have, yeah, I mean, you go in, you have True Shot, you pop off, and then you're just like... It's, yeah, I mean, I think C, you cannot put it in dog shit. It's not, but it's not good either. It's like, C is like bad still. It's also weak defensively. It also brings... I mean, it's just... I mean, I would actually like... Marksmanship is kind of like, fuck it, I'm gonna take it down in D. Because it's just fucking garbage. It's also weak defensively. It's like, it's actually just... shit. Outlaw! Outlaw is decent, I guess, with the rework as well. But there's still some lacking things. I would probably put it in C.
Hello?
Of course, Outlaw is S as well. Omega Blast. Popping off, just like the Havoc Demon Hunter. I mean, of course. No doubt about that. Currently insanely broken. Really strong defensively. I mean, it's just a really, really good class. And then we have next DPS spec is Retribution Paladin. Now, Paladin is actually decent damage. Brings a buff. Strong defensively. Good hybrid heals as well. You could, I think you want to place Red on at least B+. You guys would put it at Aven. It has Sack as well, Bob. I mean, yeah, the thing is, like, Red is low-key, when you think about all of the tools it has a lot of good things. The only thing that is negative about Red is not Red by itself, it's the fact that Holy Paladin and Prop Paladin brings all of these things as well. And Holy Paladin is super solid in plus healer. And I think many times you want to bring Holy Palas in keys. I think still next season you want to do that. In the dungeon, some dungeon maybe you want to play Disc, some dungeons Holy Pala, but it's like crazy how many tools Holy Paladin has in terms of stops. And if you have a Holy Pala, you don't really need the Red. Now we'll put Red as S+. I would actually say B+ or A for Red. But because you're probably gonna be... I mean, I think Red is good. Yeah, exactly. They are B+, but if Holy Paladin gets nerfed or is not strong anymore, you would probably put Red in A. But you're always competing with Holy Pala as a Red. They also get a Legendary. The only thing that I haven't seen good from Ret Pala is their single target damage. Has always been kind of weak. That's the only problem. Shadow Priest. Power Infusion. Master Spell. Mind Soothe. Poison Dispel. Master Spell. Vampiric Touch. Oh, Vampiric Embrace, sorry. Bad AoE stops. Long kick cooldown. Was the most broken DPS class outside of Augmentation Evoker for all of Season 2. They are not as strong in 10.2, but yeah, stand buff as well. Lack survivability? Isn't this a fake news from priests? Shadow Priest has a lot of tools. They just need to flash heal and do all kinds of stuff. They need to do some cringe stuff to gain defensive. But they are pretty unkillable if they actually do things correctly. Yeah, MC as well, kind of good. However, it does look like Disc is taking the spot a little bit on the priest utility. And you might just, if you need the priest utility, you might just want to bring a Disc instead for that specific dungeon. That is kind of what I'm thinking. But I don't think you can put Shadow Priest in C or D. You have to put it in at least B now. Even with the nerfs, it has to be B. I wouldn't say B plus either. I'm gonna give Shadow a B. Oops, stop. I'm gonna give Shadow a B. Survival Hunter. I think I want to put this one up in A as well. Really strong right now. I think A in Employ will be nerfed. You think so? I think it's survival is really good at the moment. It's also one of the only like specs from Hunter that can really benefit a lot from the leech healing on AoE pulls, which is really, really good for rotting damage. Because MM, you lose Lone Wolf from it. PM, you don't really do any damage yourself. It's mainly your pets. And the leech healing is quite nice defensively. So you can swap between leech pet and tank pet whenever you need. So it brings a little bit of extra defensive there. It's also the only hunter spec that kinda likes versatility a bit as a secondary stat. So you can go high verse and not lose as much damage as the other specs, which is something that you've been doing in previous MDI seasons playing survival. Right. So it does have a little bit higher flat out damage reduction compared to the other ones. So I think as long as survival's damage is high, survival is probably going to be the strongest hunter spec for keys. Simply because melee kick, stronger defensively. So as long as his damage is just higher, it will be the best, right? So I'm gonna put the survival in A as well. Up with BM Hunter. This is for M+. Remember, it's M+ tier list, guys. You told us if it's gonna get nerfed. Your comments, Finger Prime, bro. Okay. What DPS specs do we have left? We have Unholy DK. Gingi Feral is an A. Okay, where is Feral then? If you had to pick. Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot Sub as well. Let's go Sub. I mean, Sub is also A, right? The only negative about, I mean, Rogue is like really strong. Like all three Rogue specs are like top dog. But the damage profile of Sub is weaker than the other specs. Because Outlaw and Assa can do pretty good single target damage. Whereas Sub has to either Black Powder or Eviscerate. You cannot really do that much AoE damage while you're doing single target. And your funnel damage is not really that good either. Whereas Enhancement Shaman's funnel is slightly better. But the overall damage of sub is crazy good because its AoE damage is just like really, really high quality. It's really, really good AoE damage overall. So I think I'm gonna put sub here, and after thinking about it, I'm actually gonna put enhancement in A. I changed my mind. I thought more about the ability to utilize the enhancement funnel in dungeons, and if you use it correctly, it is game-breakingly broken. Like, it is kind of ridiculous how much single target damage Enhancement Shaman can do if you play around the spec. So I took it up. Also has nice synergy with S-specs, yes. But the problem is that you have 2 S-specs. In order to add this as well, you have this machine right here penetrating you from behind. And you can do nothing about it. It's just too strong. Okay, Unholy. Unholy DK. A spec that has historically been really fucking good in MDI dungeons because of its strong cooldowns and the ability to absolutely destroy massive pulls. High keys, however, it's not really been one of the most represented specs. In raids, however, Unholy DK has been sitting at the top with its haste scaling from Power Infusion, and it's really strong cooldown that just exponentially scales even more with PI and Augmentation Evoker buffs, making it the strongest single target class in the game currently. Now, it has gotten a rework that I've heard from DK saying that the damage profile is now going to be a lot better for M+. But what do you bring? You bring Grip. You bring Control Undead. But you don't really want to do that as Unholy. I think you lose a lot of damage. But there were some Undeads in the past that I know Frost DKs could take. You have Zone. You have a really strong cooldowns as well, defensive cooldowns. IBF. You have also AMS, which can be used to immune a lot of times. So for a lot of mechanics, it's like a short cooldown immunity. Combat Res. Unholy don't have Mass Grip. Unless I missed out on something completely new. Yeah, you have AoE, Disorient as well. Oh, you're talking about A-Bomb Limb? Ah, okay. Yeah, A-Bomb Limb is kinda... It was a little bit unreliable. But I guess it's still there. It's pretty decent sometimes. And CR. I think I haven't really played with Unholy DKs too much. I need to play with a good one in dungeons. It's also getting a legendary. The weak point of Unholy DK is going from pull to pull. Like, if you do medium-sized pulls back to back to back, that fits perfectly into the playstyle of like Outlaw, you know, Sub Rogues, like BM Hunters. Like, you have damage in every pack. It doesn't fucking matter. Whereas Unholy DK is more cooldown focused, and you need to really play around the cooldowns and pull big when you do have CDs. And sometimes you're limited in high keys to be able to do that. But they have every 45 seconds now. Okay, that does make them better. I would say that my Unholy DK knowledge doesn't stretch far enough to give them a 100% accurate like ranking in M+, because it hasn't really been meta in high keys in a long time, so it's been a while to play with them. But I would say it's probably B+ or A. Unholy DK, just because of like how strong its DPS is. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in A. A lot of people are saying B+ A. The one thing why I think I'm putting it in A is that combined with an Augmentation Evoker, and if you play Disc Priest in meta as well, imagine you have a Disc Priest in your group and an Augmentation Evoker. Do you know how much fucking damage that enables for the DK? Like, you can do a lot of crazy shit in M+ with that composition. So it has potential. Don't rate it based on other specs. Listen, that's what M+ is all about. You cannot rate an M+ class as an individual class by itself. That's unfortunately not how M+ works. A lot of times, a meta is being picked and a class is being picked based on the synergistic effects of the comp overall. You cannot rate a class individually when it comes to M+ strength. It is a 5-man team after all. I think you just made that word up. What word? If you do like that, augmentation goes to hell. Yeah, okay. Rank Augmentation Evoker by itself. Yeah, I'm gonna put Augmentation Evoker in D because if it doesn't have any team members, it's a really weak spec. You can look at it like that. I mean, it's... but let's see. So, Unholy we put into... It gets an A. And I do think that Boomkin also for M+, I'll probably have to give it an A as well. I changed my mind. I think it's also A. I have so many classes in A though. What I'm a little bit... I need to see if I'm happy with this. A lot of A classes. But it is kind of, I'm looking at it, I mean, they're all good classes though, that's the thing. A-class is a class that show up in top 100 rank times runs. Nah, that's not true. I mean, the thing is, you always see like S-classes being represented way more than anything else. But you can push high keys with everything that is in A and do really well. That's the thing. You can easily push with the A specs and do good. Now, Windwalker Monk, they have gotten a lot of like... It's D as well, right? It's completely shit. They really need to do something about Windwalker because it's weak as fuck. Augmentation Evoker. Strongest class in the game currently. It brings so much to an M+ team, right? Like, just think about it. It's definitely just at the top. And the S comp is currently what people are doing as well, I think. When they're pushing high keys on PTR. If you have a comp with this, it's gonna be really fucking good. Now, you don't have any CR currently with this comp, which is the only negative of the 3 DPS classes, right? So I think, like, if you look at the healer, I think a Disc Priest won't bring any CR here, for example. That's why I think I would probably prefer for a overall comp, you want to kind of bring the Paladin. So maybe you bring the Holy Paladin, or you bring the Disc Priest and the Prop Paladin. But then you have Red Aura, Davida, PI. I mean, the healer and tank meta is gonna be pretty interesting. I'm not quite sure what it's gonna be yet. You could also go for the overall, like, just full on, like, raid buff comp if you don't need the priest. You bring Red Aura, you bring Battle Shout, you have magic damage. Obviously, the magic damage from the Havoc only really benefits the augmentation, the Havoc itself, and the Holy Pala. So the Rogue, Outlaw Rogue will not be affected by this, except for poison damage. You also have Brewmaster. Now, on the healer front, if we're just gonna go like from healers, let's split the tanks and the healers. And let's look at we need to look at the DPS classes as well to see what tanks and healers are good. So if we start with the tank, Prot Warrior, no battle rest, which is currently lagging the comp. You have Battle Shout, which benefits the Havoc and the Rogue, so you have a good buff. Prot Warrior has definitely improved in 10.2. So the only lagging thing that you really have is a natural combat rest. And you definitely want to have at least one natural combat rest. The second one is a bonus, but you can always have a backup with an engineering rest in case you're playing one CR only. So in case this combat rest dies, you have NG rest, right? So it's playable. But you want to have one natural rest at least. This tier list is cooked. Why is it cooked? It's good. This is all theoretical tier lists of the current state of PTR. You don't think it's still going to be Guardian Druid? Guardian Druid fits into this comp perfectly as well. That's the thing. Like, Guardian Druid, look at it. Mark of the Wild, buffs everyone. You get a natural CR as well. You gain a Curse Spell too, which is gonna be nice for some dungeons. One that's not 1 minute long. That's the thing you lack a little bit with melee heavy comps. You don't have a natural dispels and stuff like that, and that's what the Guardian Druid kinda helps with. Like if you stay true with the Guardian Druid Holy Paladin comp augmentation, like look at this comp. This looks fucking good, right? Double CR, like you know, all of a sudden it looks really strong, and you cover the dispels required as well. And you need to have at least one range in order to deal with range mechanics. And in this case, the Augmentation Evoker would get all of the ranged abilities on him, which is not necessarily a bad thing. So, this is what I mean, like, when you're looking at individual specs and classes as a DPS player, now all of a sudden, the healers and tanks needs to complement and fill in the roles that is currently lacking on a utility perspective from the DPS players, right? And if you play double melee, you don't have any, like right now you have no dispels in the group, except for, well, you have the dispel from the Evoker, of course, but you don't have any curse spell that's not a 1 minute CD. So if you're running into a curse spell situation, you're gonna have issues with this comp, if there is any. But then you could play the Guardian Druid for that dungeon, potentially. So what I think on the tank and the healer front is that you're probably gonna be swapping based on the dungeon. We all know one mage spec will be good, Outlaw plus Mage. But just think about it, Outlaw and Mage? They don't, I mean... Yeah, it would be Havoc and Mage, not Outlaw Mage, because... wouldn't really be supporting each other from a DPS perspective. Right? You'd be buffing the augmentation. Havoc plus... Wait, what did he say? Did he say minus Outlaw? He made no Outlaw. Yeah, okay, I mean, you can. But the thing is, Rogue's damage is not strong enough right now. That's the problem. But from the tank position, like... Am I wrong in saying that all tanks are good? I feel like it's the truth. Vengeance sucks. That's not true. The rework is like incredibly strong. Okay, so when I say all tanks are good, it's that I feel like they're all bringing something in terms of the utility. Now, when it comes to surviving in high keys, obviously I don't have the current knowledge of like how strong they are defensively in M+, and if they are going to be struggling in a high key. So I would need to get the information like from the strongest defensive tank to the weakest defensive tank. Because if you look at Vengeance Demon Hunter, right now, if you play a Havoc, you don't need the magic damage. This loses massive value if you have a Havoc in the team to bring a Vengeance. But the new sigils, having 2 charges and low cooldown, you have Silence Sigil and Grip Sigil all the time. It is crazy how many stops you can do as a Vengeance Demon Hunter. So it brings you it brings insane stops to the key. Now, is it necessary? Maybe key dependent, you'll get more value, but it's really fucking strong. Prot Warrior, Reflex. I've seen really good damage from Warrior when Robin played it. Battle Shout, which is very nice for a melee meta comp as well. Blood Decay. It's a strong tank for itself. It's also, from what I've seen, also Dorky is very hyped about Blood Decay. It's for many tanks, it's also the most enjoyable one to play. Because you are in control of your own death, pretty much. You're not reliant on the healer. Get a legendary as well. Mass Grip. Single grips. Good fucking damage. I think Blood Decay is also really, really good. And you get the CR. Now you have a natural CR from the tank. Right? But look at the missed opportunity of giving damage to the whole group. Adding this, or this. That's kind of what you're missing out on if you bring the Battle Shout, Markers of Wild, physical damage, Red Hour, you know, like it's crazy. It's crazy. Do you know how much better the tank needs to be to remove like 5% on a DPS player? It's a lot. It needs to do a lot more. And that's, so the tank needs to be completely broken. Yeah, I mean, of course, like Paladin in general, both Red and Prot has so much utility, like all fields and stuff like that. But I would like to say that in many cases, unless you're playing like a no healer comp, the external healing is not always required. Especially if you have classes that are super strong defensively as well. It's nice to have, but not always necessary. I don't know how strong the legendary will be. You 100% need Bob for Havoc. To remove aggro. Why? You're a DH, you can just play Night Elf. You can Shadow Meld off aggro. You have a talent that reduces threat as well. And you can wait 2 globals with pressing your fucking I-beam and the hunt. Brrr. Like, relax. You don't need to fly in immediately. And in this comp, you have a rogue with tricks. So all this like early aggro that you might see in most comps, if you have a rogue, most of the time an early tricks is like pretty valuable. Now the only negative with early tricks on Outlaw is that if you are stacking up a pull, right? Maybe the Outlaw Rogue wants to wait with damaging, which most melee should in the first place. If the tank is stacking up the pack, you don't want to open as an Outlaw Rogue because your biggest damage is after you leave stealth, right? You have a subterfuge window of 6 seconds. So if you start pumping everything before everything is stacked up, a lot of that early damage is not going to go into the rest of the pack. So most of the time as an Outlaw Rogue, you want to wait a little bit with opening. Evoker can play Timelessness for reduced threat. Yes, you can play that, but committing a talent to removing threat from the Havoc Demon Hunter when he can just chill a bit, I think you're just gonna relax. Please play Rogue to lose JPC again. What? I have never lost to him. In M+. We lost last year. We lost Raceable first, but never in M+. Your worst rogue stay in your lane. Holy fuck it. Well, JPC, James doesn't stream that much. He's just stopped streaming. Why is Boomkin in A? I mean, it's the same, like, Mark of the Wild, you know, decent damage, good survivability, solar beam.
Oh, no.
And it's very easy to play. It's easy to do damage as Boomkin.
What?
I think Boomkin is pretty solid in keys.
You mean bitch?
Why is Arms in C? Why do you think it deserves higher? Boomkin is high survivability? Yeah. You just need to, I mean, you have Renewal, you have obviously Bar Skin, and it's not as strong as Feral survivability, but you're really strong against tank damage, like big AoE hits, right? You're weak on rotting damage though. I gotta give it to that. If it's rotting damage, debuffs and whatnot that's taking you down, it's not as strong.
No, do you know what it was?
MM shouldn't be in D. Why? You think it's better? Because it's trash. But there's no lower rank than D.
Yes, it was hard.
But Warrior of Legendary. Yeah, but it doesn't matter. They also nerfed their rally and whatnot now. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I cannot... Depending on what ends up becoming the best, you have to fit these in. But obviously, this priest is looking really hot at the moment for M+. Mistweaver kind of fits in nicely into the comp as well, looking at it. Holy Pala solid, also CR comes in. But yeah, these are also very early stages into PTR, guys. Some things are overtuned, some things needs buffs, nerfs, but from many times, and that's also why the mages and rogues and like has historically been really fucking good in M+, consistently ever since M+ came out. As long as their damage is good, their whole toolkit, and the way it plays in dungeons is just really, really fucking strong. And now with the added class buffs, this expansion, class buffs plays a massive role into the meta. So that's kind of the way the game has gone. You are forced to have CR, Bloodlust. Obviously, the augmentation brings the Bloodlust now. And then you have OP classes, and the Augmentation Evoker just scales with the class it plays with. If you buff a class that does a lot of damage, the Augmentation Evoker does a lot of damage. On top of the defensive damage reduction it gives to the whole team. So Augmentation Evoker, it doesn't fucking matter what class you play with. As long as you're playing with the good stuff, Augmentation will also be good. The healer and the tank role. Of course, the tank needs to be strong. Needs to do good damage, needs to be tanky. That's why Guardian Druid is very versatile. Mark of the Wild, doesn't matter what's in the group. It brings some good stuff as well, like, Curse spell, it gives combat rest as well. Guardian Druid is a very versatile tank that can fit into any comp. That's what's nice about Guardian. It's the same with Holy Pala. But yeah, this is my M+ DPS tier list.